Hi, this is Peter Salemi, and welcome to the Watchman program. Well, as we see this war between Russia and the Ukraine raging on, here in the West we are getting conflicting accounts of why this war is taking place. Now, according to the Biden administration, they are saying that the reason why this war is taking place is because Vladimir Putin is trying to reestablish the old Soviet empire. But according to the Russians, they are saying that this invasion of the Ukraine, and this is according to Reuters, is a special military operation in the Ukraine, and it was necessary because the United States was using the Ukraine to threaten Russia. And Russia had to defend against the genocide of Russian-speaking people by the Ukraine, which was taking place in the Donbass region. So this is one of the reasons anyways. But when you look at the overall plan of Russia, now I urge you to go to this YouTube channel by Dr. Steve Turley, and I'll put the link in the description below. And he's been covering the war between Russia and the Ukraine in great detail for weeks now, and he pretty much shows you that Russia is pretty much unplugging itself from the West, the liberal world order of the West, and exerting its independence from the West. That's pretty much what's happening and why Russia's doing the things that they're doing today. And even here it says, by Reuters, it says, Russia says that despite sanctions, it can fare well without what it casts as the deceitful and decadent West led by the United States. It says its bid to forge ties with the West after the 1991 fall of the Soviet Union is now over. And it plans to forge and develop ties with other powers other than the Western powers. So pretty much it is unplugging itself from the liberal, neoliberal, globalist world order, and it's exerting its independence. And this should be no surprise when you understand Bible prophecy and you understand where the Russians are in Bible prophecy. Now, if you download our booklet, and I'll put the link in the description below, if you download our booklet, Russia in Prophecy, we basically show you that Russia, number one, is not Gog of Ezekiel the 38th chapter. We show you that Russia is Ishmael. And of course, we go through in the booklet, we disprove the whole notion that the Arabs are Ishmael. That is absolutely not true. It's based on myth and not historical facts. And we prove to you that Russia is Ishmael. And we show you that Russia comes from the Eastern Slavic peoples that came out of the Kiev Rus Empire that dwelt between the Black and the Caspian Sea. And they migrated there from the Middle East. And in the Middle East, they were called the Midiani Empire, which was composed of two tribes, Midian and Ishmael. And Ishmael became the Eastern Slavs of the Kiev Rus people, and they migrated up into Russia and became a great nation, which is of course prophesied in Genesis, the 16th chapter, that Ishmael would become a great nation. So Russia is Ishmael, and as it says here in Genesis, the 16th chapter, verse 12, it says that Ishmael would be a wild man. Now when you look at the Hebrew, it should read a wild ass of a man. So it would have the characteristics of a donkey. And when you look at the characteristics of a donkey, it says here under this website, it says donkeys have a reputation for stubbornness, which is what we're seeing with the Russian peoples today. And of course, even during the height of the whole Cold War. But this is due highly to their developed sense of self-preservation, which is what's happening today in Russia. And if you want to see proof on that, again, I urge you to go to Steve Turley's YouTube channel, and he'll prove that to you, that that's exactly what Russia is doing. They're preserving their culture, their identity, and they're unplugging themselves from the West and exerting their independence. It says donkeys are more independent in their thinking than horses, and will reason, then make decisions based on their safety, which is, of course, happening with the Ukraine today. So basically what you are seeing is Ishmael exerting its independence. He shall be a wild ass of a man, self-preservation, exerting its independence. And then it says his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, which is, of course, what's happening today with all the sanctions, against Russia from who? The West. And it says here, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. When you look at the Moffat translation of the Bible, it says that he will defy all his kinsmen, which is what he is doing. He is defying his brothers to the West, which is, of course, the Western powers are the people of Israel, and he is defying them all, which is what, of course, is happening during this war between Russia and the Ukraine. He is defying all his brethren. They don't care about sanctions. They don't care about the West. They don't care about getting kicked out of SWIFT and all of that. They don't care. They are defying each and every one of them. And here, when we see the definition of defiance, it says to resist openly and boldly, formal, to challenge or to provoke, which is, of course, what's happening now. And, of course, that's what happened during the Cold War as well. And when you look at the International Bible Commentary by F.F. Bruce, it says here, the overall impression is of an unruly spirit of independence, talking about Ishmael. Of course, that's exactly what's happening, setting him at odds with his brother or kinsman. That's on page 126 of the Bible Commentary. That's exactly what's happening now. So what you are seeing today is pretty much prophecy being fulfilled, that Ishmael would be a wild ass of a man, exerting its independence, being stubborn, preserving its culture, its identity, and defying all his brethren to the West, which is, of course, the people of Israel, Isaac, Israel, Jacob. That's exactly what's happening. We are seeing prophecy being fulfilled right now. Get that free booklet, Russia in Bible Prophecy, free of charge off our website, britishisrael.ca. You will see that the Cold War was prophesied in the Bible. You will see that the fall of the Soviet Empire was prophesied in the Bible. You will see that NATO was prophesied in the pages of the Bible. It's all there in our booklet, Russia in Bible Prophecy, free of charge off our website, britishisrael.ca. This is Peter Salemi saying goodbye, friends. I'll see you here next time on the Watchman program.